Hi, guys. Today we're going to talk about Act 3 and John Proctor and how his character develops in this court scene. So we start off, and John Proctor brings in Mary Warren to come and tell the court that she was in charge of the poppet that caused Elizabeth to be arrested. And once she is doing her testimony, Abigail basically implies that Mary is sending out her spirit on her and starts acting all crazy. This sends John Proctor rightly over his edge. And we finally see John Proctor say, "How do you call heaven whore, whore?" So at this point, he's so mad that he just calls Abby out, which obviously causes a stir in the courtroom. And at this point, he's kind of made the decision that he's willing to go down to save his wife, which is a very honorable decision. So let's look at the text. Danforth is obviously a little bit thrown off by this and says, "You will prove this. This will not pass." Proctor, stage directions, trembling, his life collapsing about him. This is kind of key because it shows how weighty this confession is going to be, especially in the Salem community for John Proctor. "I have known her. I have known her." Known, I highlighted that and put a little note because this implication that of known in this case is that, he's known her in an intimate setting, we'll say. Are you a lecher? That's a person who commits adultery. And he says later, "A man will not cast away his good name. You surely know that." So one thing is that, Danforth is just assuming that Abigail and the girls are telling the truth the whole time, right? And anybody who challenges them are essentially called witches. Here, Proctor is like, "Dude, Danforth, I'm not going to just cast away my good name and completely ruin my reputation for nothing. There's no reason for him to be lying," which is the weight in his confession here. So in his big confession, he kind of stumbles through it. He's weeping. He's very upset. Then he finally, in the end, says, "She thinks to dance with me on my wife's grave, and she might, and well, she might, for I thought of her softly. God help me, I lusted, and there is a promise in such sweat, but it is a whore's vengeance, and you must see it. I set myself entirely in your hands. I know you must see it now." So in this, you must see that I'm not doing this for nothing type of thing. And then Danforth asks Abigail about it, and she has an emotional response. And I like that the stage direction says Danforth seems unsteady. Well, of course he's unsteady. I put a little note in here. It's like he's put a lot of trust in Abigail. So this is throwing his entire case. He's like put people up to hang because of Abigail's word. And then now he's thinking that she cheated on, she was the other woman in this affair, which is really not great in Salem's times, or any times for that matter. And John Proctor responds with, "I have made a bell of my honor. I have rung the doom of my good name. You will believe me, Mr. Danforth. My wife is innocent, except she knew a whore when she saw one." So once again, trying to reinforce that he wouldn't do this for nothing. And of course, what does Abigail do? She responds with a power move. And this can be shown in the stage directions when it says Abigail stepping up to Danforth. What kind of girl steps up to the judge? Well, a girl that's running the court, essentially. So they have provided her this power, right? And she has the personality for the power. And so she comes up to Danforth and says, "What look did you give me?" defending herself. But then I like how Danforth is responding with, "You will remain where you are," and Herrick steps into her path, kind of really putting her in her place in this situation. Let's see what I wrote on my comment. I put, challenging her power move. If you're working out of the online textbook, remember that you can put these notes in as you read and make things. So in response to this, Danforth, to kind of prove if Proctor is telling the truth or not, they decide to bring in Elizabeth, and Proctor says, "My wife cannot lie. I have paid much to learn it, sir." So Elizabeth is going to hopefully free John Proctor's name.